Hello, this is Dr. J, and welcome to Let's Play Command and Conquer, the original. This is a Let's Play that I didn't want to do until I felt good and ready. Why? Because this is one of my probably top 3 favorite games of all time, ever. This and the original Red Alert. It remains my favorite real-time strategy game. Even to this day. I have yet to play an RTS that I have enjoyed more than this one. Is that nostalgia talking? Probably partially, but I also legitimately think that there is just something really special about this game that has yet to be properly replicated, even by the sequels in the Command & Conquer franchise. Just a little bit of other housekeeping. Unlike many strategy games that have campaigns for opposing sides, where the campaigns contradict each other because in one of them one side wins and in the other side wins. In this game, both of the campaigns can be considered canon. It is absolutely possible, and in fact not that difficult to reconcile them with each other. And in fact, there are even some things in each campaign that make more sense when you take things that happen in the other campaign into account. And so I'm not going to play the entire GDI campaign and then the entire Nod campaign all in one go. I'm going to be switching back and forth between the two campaigns in a manner that hopefully makes the story flow better and kind of builds a cohesive narrative. So yeah, we are going to be jumping back and forth between the two campaigns at spots that I think are appropriate. And after doing the main campaigns, I am also planning to do all of the extra missions, which includes all of the Covert Ops missions and all of the Special Ops missions from the N64 and the PlayStation. So we're going to do everything, all of the official content. Alright, well that's enough babbling on from me by way of introduction. Let's go ahead and watch the game's intro now.
The Grain Trade Center in Vienna was the 17th urban bombing in 4 weeks, blamed on Nod terrorists.
The Security Commission remains in closed session tonight following Nod terrorist actions in Slovenia.
At least your mother tipped well.
Harsh, unforgiving wilderness.
New Tiberium harvesting methods instituted by the Brotherhood of Nod increase profitability by 49%.
Nod Tiberium holdings now account for almost half of the world's known supply, giving the quasi-terrorist group incredible leverage in the London Gold Exchange. On the domestic side,
Cover of Tiberium ignored reporters at Hong Kong's Second World Tiberium Economic Impact Summit. Mobius is expected to refute charges from the scientific community that Tiberium might be dangerous.
أني مع اللون الأصفر.
As the GDI forces take off in another Nod assault, the free world holds its breath. This is Greg Burdett, WWN, somewhere in the Mediterranean.
Are you picking this up? Deactivate your defense matrix.
Alright, now we'll just go ahead and skip over all the coming attractions now that we've seen the intro. I guess another quick technical note. The videos, for me, are unbelievably loud, like practically blowing my eardrums out loud. I'm not really sure how to equalize the volume with the rest of the game, so I'm just going to edit those down to a more reasonable volume in post, and to you it shouldn't even be noticeable. So you're welcome, humble viewers. Oh, and I guess one other thing. If you're wondering why I'm playing this version of the game and not the remaster, that's because I lost my login information, and the stupid remaster, of course, phones home, and you have to have an internet connection, and you have to be logged in to be able to use it, blah, 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 and I can't figure out how to retrieve my lost login information, so it's essentially just unplayable to me now. I absolutely hate that kind of DRM, by the way. Like, if I buy a game, I should just be able to play the damned game forever, whether I have an internet connection or not. Absolutely hate it. But that's neither here nor there. That's just an explanation as to why I'm playing this version, not the remaster. So the relevant things that we learned from that intro video are that, firstly, there is an extremely valuable resource known as Tiberium, a strange crystal that two major factions are fighting over. The Global Defense Initiative, which is essentially like if the UN had a powerful military, and the Brotherhood of Nod, sort of a terrorist organization. And it also introduced a couple of the characters that we'll be running into. Dr. Mobius, a scientist who has been investigating Tiberium's properties, and Greg Burdett, a reporter that we'll be seeing a little bit more of later on. So let's go ahead and dive into the campaign now. We're going to go ahead and start with Nod, because I think narratively it sort of makes the most sense from a story flow perspective.
Brotherhood of Nod selected.
So, you're the new addition to the Brotherhood. Well, I'm Seth. Just Seth. From God to Cain to Seth. I am his right hand, and I have a task for you. This is Nakumba, and he is causing the Brotherhood much grief. His views do not coincide with ours, and that makes him dangerous. Silence him.
And so the first mission begins. First of all, you'll notice that there's a bizarre graphical glitch going on the screen here. That's because the resolution I'm playing at is larger than the actual area that the map takes up. That's going to be true for the first couple missions in both campaigns, and then we'll never see it again, because the maps will get big enough that they're larger than the screen resolution I'm playing at. But we'll just have to put up with that graphical oddity for the first mission here. So in that briefing, we were introduced to Seth. He is the Nod commander who is going to be giving us our mission objectives for the majority of the Nod campaign. Now, one could say not all of the acting in the briefings is the best, but I think the full motion video briefings in this game have a lot of charm to them, and are one of many reasons that this game holds such a special place for me. Now, these first few missions are ridiculously easy, pretty much mindlessly so, but that's fine, because they're just introducing you to how the game works and such. But there's really not much for us to do here except defeat some very scattered, weak GDI resistance, and then find and kill Nakumba. Now, Nod are depicted in a fairly straightforwardly evil manner in this game, going about gratuitously killing civilians and anybody who doesn't agree with their way of doing things and so on. I think it's a little bit of a missed opportunity from a narrative storytelling point of view, and that maybe things could have been made more interesting if they were presented in a more nuanced manner, and maybe Nod was shown as legitimately providing a way to empower some oppressed and impoverished peoples. But that's not really the way the game went, so we'll just roll with it. As a child, I much preferred playing as GDI than as Nod, because I sort of accepted the game's very straightforward depiction of GDI as the good guys and Nod as the bad guys. Now that I am older and have acquired a deep cynicism and skepticism of institutional authority, I no longer really accept the game's straightforward depiction of GDI as the good guys, so now I kind of don't have a strong preference between playing as GDI or playing as Nod. Now, one thing I'm going to have to remember to do, which could be difficult to do while I'm also commentating, is making a save toward the end of each mission. And the reason for that is because the missions often branch after you beat a mission, you get a choice of which mission to pick next. And because this is not the remaster, unless we explicitly make save points, it is not going to be easy for us to go back and pick the different mission branches. And I want to show every single mission in this game, which means I'm going to have to try hard to remember to make these saves so that I can take the branching paths when we come across them. There's Nakumba. Our mission is to kill him. So we do, and the incredibly easy first Nod mission is complete. Here is the score screen. Nod's score screen is more badass than GDI's because you actually get depictions of people being killed and buildings exploding. My goodness, that was ridiculously loud. Hopefully I'll remember to edit it in post. If not, then my apologies for destroying your eardrums, dear viewers. That was very short, so we'll move on to the next Nod mission. And enjoy the long lag time as the game loads the world map. One of the many sort of buggy behaviors we're going to have to deal with due to playing this old game on modern hardware. Now this is the same mission, but with two different map layouts. I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to show everything. So I'm going to do both variations of this mission for the sake of thoroughness. So we are pushing forward into Cairo. Let's see what's going on there. Hi, Seth.
Back so soon? Let's see how you do with something important. For too many years, GDI forces have maintained a stranglehold on Egypt. It's fallen upon us to liberate these citizens crying out for a better way of life. Kane wants to establish a base here to eliminate the smothering presence of GDI. It's too risky to move our heavy forces in, so we want you to sneak in with a few expendable troops and set up a forward attack post. By the way, there's more than enough Tiberium for you to harvest. That should easily pay your expenses. If you are detected, you fail. If you fail, you die.
More of the game. Oh my goodness, it's still so loud. It's still so loud. Okay, as I will say, now that the volumes should be more normalized, more of the game depicting Nod as a very straightforwardly evil faction with that threat that we will be killed if we fail this mission, which it seems a little extreme. Pretty much a evil organization way of dealing with officers who sometimes fail their missions. So this mission introduces us to the concept of base building and Tiberium harvesting, which are very familiar real-time strategy concepts today. Back at the time this game was made, real-time strategy was still a relatively new genre. This, of course, isn't the first real-time strategy game ever made. To some extent, you could say Dune 2 gets that honor, or perhaps Herzog Zwei on the Genesis. But it was still a very, very early real-time strategy game. And considering how early it was, it's incredible what a good job it did of pinning down the tropes of the genre and all the different fundamental gameplay mechanics. Now, there are a few modern conveniences from newer real-time strategy games that I miss. One is the ability to queue up multiple units to be built at once. Instead, every single time we want to build a unit, we have to click on it. That is one of the things about this game that has aged the worst, but we're going to have to deal with it. If I were playing the remaster, we wouldn't have to deal with that, but for reasons I already explained, we're not playing the remaster. We are playing the Near Gods version of this game. Alright, so we are still in incredibly easy mission territory. So we're pretty much just going to go to the enemy base and storm it. And maybe capture a couple other buildings with the engineers that I'm building, or training rather. Although, in this game, Ava calls it building, even when we're making infantry. In future games, that voiceover changes to training. Get wrecked. I'll leave a couple of guards behind to defend my base from the incredibly weak enemy attacks. Now let's go find the GDI base and take it out. The force that we have here should be sufficient, I think. Now, I'm ordinarily, if I do say so myself, pretty good at these games. Not like super ultra pro level mastery, but pretty good. However, my gameplay quality is probably going to be lower than normal because of the fact that I am commentating at the same time I'm playing. Which, if you've never tried it yourself, let me assure you, it's harder than it looks. You really have to divide your attention to do this. Good job guarding, guys. Oh. Okay, we don't want to attack their harvester because I'm hoping to capture their refinery while the harvester is still in it. Alright, let's go knocking on the front door then. Now the enemy harvester does start out damaged, which is probably a concession on the part of the game designers for the fact that we don't have good anti-harvester units yet. But we're not even going to bother dealing with it, even though it is already injured. That's why we're going to wait for it to return to its refinery and then capture the refinery. Got some groovy jungle beats going now.
GDI building.
We'll go ahead and sell that for massive cash. Alright, destroy their barracks. And let's prepare our own barracks to build once we capture the refinery. Leave the harvester alone, guys. Capture it. Slap down our barracks, make it the primary building. And we'll create some more engineers to capture the enemy's remaining buildings, and that'll be an easy victory to us. Seth is surely going to be so impressed by our performance.
Unit ready. Building. GDI building captured. Unit ready.
Alright, and before we go to capture the last GDI building, let's remember to make ourselves a save. Alright.
GDI mission.
And that's another easy victory for us. An interesting video there, depicting what looks like an airstrike on a Nod base. Not what we would have expected for our victory video. The sound effects are really messed up for this score screen. Like, that one is way too loud, and the what should be the sound of our score increasing just isn't even audible. It's very strange. Okay, and now I've reloaded back to the end of Nod Mission 1 so we can take the other branch and see the other version of Nod Mission 2. Poor Nakumba dies again. I'll go ahead and jump ahead from here for the sake of you viewers not having to watch the score screen, etc. a second time. Now in this case, it's just two versions of the same mission, so it's going to be the exact same mission briefing. So I'll go ahead and skip it. Oftentimes when we get a branch, they actually go to completely different missions with different objectives and everything, but not always, and not this time. Alright, so once again, we just have to destroy all GDI forces, and we are introduced to the concepts of building bases and harvesting Tiberium. Alright, we'll leave those guys where they are so they can shoot the incoming GDI infantry. I'm going to go ahead and play explicitly pick where'd it go. Why is it not the first one in the playlist? There it is, Act on Instinct. Which to me is kind of the quintessential Command and Conquer theme. This is just the theme of when I think of the original Command and Conquer. The theme I think of. The soundtrack in general is really good in this game. Frank Klopacki did an incredible job with the music in this game.
construction complete. Unit ready.
And this is, to me, one of the most memorable and iconic tracks.
New construction options. Building.
We will scout for the enemy base. Go ahead and take out this lone infantryman. Minigunners, as they are called in this game, which is a strange name. I don't know why they're called that. I'm pretty sure a minigun is, despite its name, actually like a huge Gatling gun or something. It's very misnamed, so... Minigunner doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's okay. We'll let that one go. Alright, same strategy as last time. It worked very well for us, so why fix what isn't broken? We'll let our buggies take out these random infantry swarming all over the place. Looks like these guys are going to try a sneaky flanking maneuver, but we're ready for them. We see them coming. Our buggies are taking some casualties, as quite a few enemy infantry are coming out to play. But I think we're about ready to launch our counterattack now. I do like how the missions escalate what level of technology you have access to. I mean, that's hardly unique to this game. I think the vast majority of real-time strategy games operate in this manner. But it just really gives a very nice and satisfying sense of progression. The way you get access to more and more powerful units as you get through the game. Alright, so there's the enemy construction yard, right for the picking. Okay, I wasn't kidding. I really need you to go in the enemy construction yard. Thank you. Let's go ahead and build another Hand of Nod so we can start producing in the middle of their base. We will save our other engineer for the enemy refinery, just like last time. Luckily, the enemies aren't targeting the engineer for some reason.
Primary building selected. Building. Unit ready. Building. Unit ready.
This is a very Nod song that's playing right now. I suppose it's pretty appropriate for our conquest of the GDI base. What is this one called again? Enemies to be feared. Yep, that sums us up. Let's go ahead and start capturing the enemy's Tiberium silos. Don't know why I had that incredibly long load time on my brain remembering Tiberium silos. Sometimes I feel like my brain is a spinner hard drive. Long access times. Alright, good job. Excellent work taking out the enemy sentries. This is really quite embarrassing, guys. Alright. And the enemy refinery is ours. Actually, forget the engineer. Our attack has been overcome unexpectedly. So we had better crank out some minigunners to deal with them. What was the hotkey for repair? I don't remember. Alright, let's go deal with these guys who are trying a sneaky flank. Oh, I haven't, Hey, look at them running away. Cowards. Get back here. Oh, now that was... I don't know if you caught it, but that was a bug in this game. Where I went to do a box select, and instead of selecting the units in the box, it selected a building at the corner of the box. A very strange bug in the original CNC and Red Alert engine. One that is going to bite us many times throughout this playthrough, I'm sure. That one, too, where you go to do a box select, and at the end of it, it interprets it as a move command, just like that, and your units move to the edge of the box. Another annoyance we'll have to put up with quite a bit. For that reason, I do like to use, well, that and other reasons, I like to use control groups whenever possible.
Unit ready.
Tell you what, let's just capture their barracks.
GDI building.
And this will be a win for us.
GDI mission.
Alright, that is both versions of Nod Mission 2 complete. Next video, we're going to switch over to the GDI campaign for a couple of missions. Like I said, we're going to be swapping back and forth to create a good narrative flow. So, hopefully you'll join me for that, and I will see you then.